Heyo, Erica and her fish back here with the Goldie tank. Coco. But the reason I wanted to do a video today is because my brown algae, I think, might be developing into possibly black beard algae. So it's been getting harder to scrape off, and it's sort of taking on this reddish hue. But I've also just read that it'll start to turn red or pink before it dies. So I don't know if this is just the life cycle of the brown algae, because the tank is still considered new. I've only had it set up since April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, so about 7 months today. And it exploded and it died down, and it's just been on the edges. And last week it started turning green on the glass, and this week I noticed it's got like a little reddish in it. So I scraped off half of the tank, and then I was like, oh, I should do a video. So I was actually thinking of painting the leaves with hydrogen peroxide. I saw a couple different things. I didn't see anything on a dip, so, well, actually I did, but it said 1.5 milliliters of the hydrogen peroxide per gallon. But there was another option to just spray it and let it sit there, and then this other option for painting it with Seachem Flourish. And I figured if I can spray it, then maybe I could just paint it like that too. But this side, is a little bit thicker, kinda, and a little more on the red side. I don't know. To my eye, it looks dark brown, almost black. But here on camera, it's kind of got a reddish look to it. And Monstro has been extra floaty, so I have been doing, last week I did a bunch of Epsom salt baths, and I increased it from a 1-to-1 on the Epsom salt to a 3-to-1. So she goes in the 3 gallons, and instead of 3 teaspoons, after 2 days I upped that to 2 teaspoons per gallon. And then finally I'm saying teaspoons, I mean tablespoons. 3 tablespoons per gallon. So that last one had a lot, but it seemed to do more. So weekly, I'm going to put her in the 3-to-1. And I've also been pushing on her belly. And at the start of last week, it was actually pretty soft, which scared me. And I pushed a lot of poop out. And then the following days when I would push on it, nothing was coming out. And then towards the end, it started to get firmer, like not as soft. Because like I could see it go in when I was pushing on her belly. It kind of freaked me out, but she's okay. And I'm actually thinking of putting some sort of medication in her food. They still get the Nourish and Garlic Guard, a half capful on each of those, plus 4 drops of Vitachem in their pellets, which they normally get every morning. And I let that sit anywhere from 30 minutes to overnight sometimes when I'm on my game. But, you know, Coco definitely looks bigger. And Monstro is growing. I can see that, but she's also struggling, as you can see. She's able to fix herself, but sometimes she'll just lay there upside down. Like, I think when she's sleeping, she really can't control it, so she'll just be there upside down. Or she'll find somewhere that will hold her upside down. A lot like what we went through back when I started this channel. So I have been thinking, you know, maybe some Hikari, maybe Prazipro, and possibly some Metroplex in her food. She hasn't stopped eating. But I did test the water, and it's 0 ammonia, 0 nitrite, and 20 nitrate. So I was getting ready to do the water change, and I think I'm going to pull those plants and do that with the hydrogen peroxide. She's going to come out and get her Epsom salt bath, and I will probably check her stomach, and we'll go from there. I keep like trying to check her for sunken belly. Her stomach doesn't look sunken in any way, but that first time I did push on it, it just kind of like pushed in, and I was able to push poop out. Coco doesn't really have any problems. She's actually been having some wen growth, some wen pimples. I mean, she still looks small to me, but sometimes I can see that she has grown a lot and she's bigger. I just can't really gauge because I look at her every day. But she's doing good. So here is the follow-up to the water change. I did the dip, or the painting of the leaves. I just put hydrogen peroxide on a paper towel, and then I would wipe the leaves, and then I let it sit until it dried. Then I rinsed it off in tap water and waited till it started to dry again, and used a toothpick to kind of scrape the algae off. And I tried to use a metal algae scraper, but that didn't work too well. But the toothpick really worked on this one, although I did tear that leaf, that one leaf right here. It was already torn, but when I started scraping on it with the toothpick, it ended up tearing. But that is the greenest I have seen that plant in a while. Monstro got her Epsom salt bath, and I decided to mix Canaplex and Metroplex into her food so I did a teaspoon of food, and I did fill it by hand. It works out to about 7 feedings for the both of them, plus the scoop of Canaplex, scoop of Metroplex, I did 2 scoops of focus. Because usually when you do one with Canoplex, it's 1-to-1. So I did 1 scoop of focus for the Canoplex and another for the Metroplex. I don't know. Plus a cap full of Garlic Guard, and then I ended up adding in the cap full of Nourish and some drops of Vitachem, just because they normally get that with their pellets. So they got that last night for dinner and this morning for breakfast. I have seen Monstro still going upside down. I did push on her stomach. It wasn't as soft, and nothing came out, but she hadn't eaten at that point, so that seemed normal. So they're just gonna keep getting that in their food for the next 3 weeks. And we'll see how these plants do by next week. So that's the end of the Goldie update. Thank you for watching. Erica and her fish. You guys stay safe.